Hey, Melissa.
Fatih, how's it going?
Things are getting better, stabilizing, all this backlog of things after CDCon finally
Yeah,
over. It took two
yes,
weeks.
gets overwhelming, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. How are
yeah,
things with you?
going well, really well.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm back home for a while, so at least for a few weeks, which will be nice. Um,
Mm. What is the
so
next trip?
next trip is going to be KCDC.
Kansas City developer something.
Yeah.
Just making it up. I don't know if it is right.
It is a developer conference in Kansas City. It's very
Oh,
popular. I hear about it every year, and I've never gone before. This will be my first time, so pretty excited to go and meet up with folks there.
I just thinking. Oh, they have Kids Day and Kids Tech Day, KC as well.
Yep, yep, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Are you
Uh,
speaking there?
I am. Yes, I've got a couple of different talks there. One is it's like Maven fundamentals.
Mm.
And it's actually a talk I'm taking over for a colleague of mine because she's not able to make it. So it's actually her talk, um, Michelle Ruiz. So that'll be pretty cool.
Mm.
And the other one is a security talk, and it's basically talking about how developers are not security experts, and
Mm.
yet we're still part of the solution. So I'll be talking about what developers can actually do to help without getting overwhelmed and feel like they
Mm.
need to, you know, go take more
Yeah.
classes in security or whatever. So yeah,
I'm looking like the speakers, like how many speakers? 500. Oh,
quite a few. I mean, it's a couple day conference, all of Thursday and Friday that week, uh, June 21st and
I
20th.
think
There's a
about
workshop day.
170 speakers on that page. 170. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. Did DC, we're talking about, just next steps for us, what we've all been doing, what we're catching up on. And I'm home for a few weeks, so I've got some time here to focus on doing home things, which is nice.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, wow. So I'm actually about to go on vacation.
Oh,
It's my,
Oh,
yeah, it's my I take the week off for my birthday weekend. So um
good.
yeah, last year
Important day.
I had to go to a conference, but this year I'm
oh
sick off.
yeah. Please stop reminding Silicon Austin. Every time, every time. That was
Um
my birthday, and I spent my birthday with your conference.
But yeah, so we've been going through a reorg. Melissa, I don't know if you know, it's actually made the papers that, one of the VPs left and went to GM. And so
Okay.
we're dealing with like where we land. So internally we do, my focus is my internal community building and like putting together the team that's behind me.
Mhm.
So we have internal developer advocates that actually do speak at conferences externally. And so we're just, that's my internal focus. And of
Nice.
course, I had the conversation with Lori about, the marketing sets and how she was approaching that from a marketing perspective so that you and I can start to kind of figure out, okay, how do we give them information? How do we align? Um,
Awesome.
so that's really the my focus over the next month is helping get the word out, and then we can hopefully bring some more people to join that discussion about what the DSL goal is and how we want to approach that. So that's my hope, that we can attract some people, and kind of I know which is, oh my God, Andrea is taking more of a marketing focus with CD events, which
Okay.
and Emil is taking more of the tactical lead side, but that's from Ben. We're also trying to get the links proposal done. So I'm just still trying to just move things forward. That's it. You know?
Cool. Awesome. Well,
Yeah, something. I just noticed. Sorry to interrupt you, Melissa.
no worries.
I don't know if you noticed a message on CD Events channel on Slack. Someone from Bloomberg just said hi and said they have been using CD Events internally for a couple of months.
Oh, really?
So, like, you can see the message there, and he actually joined the CD Events meeting this week. Ben was there as well. And that what you said, that is like, I think if you can have this, properly marketed, we can get even more people talk about this, because there may be others using these things without engaging.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And we've got to get some sense of not only their needs, but, and draw them in to participate. Because there's a lot of tools that would benefit from CD events, but there's going to be a lot of ground to cover if we try to build a DSL and start having those conversations around it. And so, yeah, even internally, we're getting more teams that are going, oh, yeah, tell me more about it. How does it impact? How can we build it into our tools? So I'm just trying to be consistent across the board.
Awesome.
I want to be sure we do something that works for everybody. That's all.
Yeah. And the more people we have backing it, I mean, obviously our open source projects, but I had a really good meeting with Lori just last week with our, internal folks at JFrog, and hoping that, sometime in the future, we're going to start getting more corporate backing of this as well, because I mean, they care too. We'll see.
Yeah, she had a meeting scheduled this week, which was the day after Memorial Day, but it was like at 5 a.m. for me. And I got up, but I couldn't get my mind, enough to be on a call. And so I didn't join the call.
Yeah, no worries.
All right.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, I think my meeting too was pretty early as well. So yeah, it never works out for me real well. That morning I got lucky, but okay, well, Fatih, Dadisi and I met last week, to talk about like the mission and the roadmap and stuff. And part of the call was just figuring out where all these documents exist already. So, we did, crawl through the GitHub repo, and we found the roadmap document. And I guess that was, tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is there was quite a few people involved in making that. It was like a Word doc, and everyone commented on it, and then everyone decided to put it out there. How do we want to do this time? Do we want to make it that big of a deal, or should we just take a stab at doing our first draft ourselves? Obviously, we can get more people engaged and commenting on it as we go.
Yeah. I think that document, like, that is from 2020, first half of 2020. I think what you said, the second alternative, like, if we can go with some basic ideas that like DSL, visualization, or whatever, this type of stuff, instead of asking people to randomly put stuff.
Right.
Yeah. We share that, and we can also promote it like on our website, Twitter, and so on, via blog post saying the CDF SIG Interoperability is working on its roadmap for 2023, 4, and even future. Take a look at it and comment it, then we can at least give people some starting point, and they might come and say, oh, all these things are great, but what about this? So we kind of say something and urge people to say something else if there is something else we missed.
Yeah, I like it. I think having examples too of stuff that we've already come up with helps inspire people, come up with more ideas. And that was basically one of the things we were talking about on the call is how to increase engagement and stuff. Obviously, with just the three of us, it's not going to be that valuable to the community. I mean, we're going to do our best, and we could put something awesome out there, but we really do need more input. So Dadisi mentioned, he talked with Lori about, marketing efforts and stuff. We also talked about, I kind of, on this call, I kind of want some actionable items that we can start working on. I'd like to basically reintroduce interoperability group, what we are, what we do, what we've done in the past, explain to people, what has already been accomplished and what we're going to do moving forward, obviously roadmap material, but I kind of want to do it presentation style, and I want to market that so we get new people involved and showing up. we can obviously use our mailing list, but that's existing people. Did you get a sense from Lori how else we can reach people? I mean, my options are like
so
blog.
this uh, so the sense from Lori was, we pick what the groups are and tell her the avenues. I talked, really was curious about like, how do we get beyond just blog? How do we get beyond things where people have to find us to more proactive things?
Exactly.
And you just kind of touched on what I wanted to see too, is more of a set deck or a set conversation and a set of set conversations that map different areas, or I should say different marketing targets, and then we're going to have to find them. Like we have to go where they are, either in conference or in, I don't want to say periodicals, but we have to figure out where these silos are and how they're getting their information and how to get to them. We're going to be limited with like LinkedIn. Of course, we can use that to draw in the community. That is what I was going to do with the folks internally at Apple too. Like as we are making blog posts and doing things, say, hey, can you extend this? Can you go talk about it? To push out the avenues that way. But I think that's going to be the overall challenge. Like, how do we find the people who are not finding us? How do we find the people who are the Bloombergs, right? Who might be using it and we don't even know about it. That's always going to be the challenge. It would be, I know it's open source, so we don't like track who like pulls down the information to use it. But if we, I haven't figured out how to solve that problem yet. And that's going to be the core problem that we're going to have for a while.
I think as we pull people into, we need to be clear what we're looking for, what kind of input we're looking for, because I mean, there's going to be many that are working in organizations that are a little not as free to join groups like this. But I still think, that there will be a lot of opportunity for contribution, for problem scenarios and things like that.
Okay. So when you say what input we're looking for, and that's a great example, give me some ideas of what that might mean, at least from what does that mean? So
I mean, this group is about interoperability. So we want, problems with interoperability, but are we asking people to share what they're doing inside their organizations? Just their personal experiences.
I'm taking notes, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. In the use cases.
And we need an example. So, I mean, obviously our famous example is going to be, what CD events came from, right? What problem is that solving?
Yep.
So, but that's just one idea.
Okay. That pulls into so part of the education too, at least that I'm struggling with internally, is getting people to understand the difference between interoperability and integration.
Yeah.
And how, because I use the slides from Andrea's presentation that he just did that show the roadmap for CD events, and he has this great diagram of like the broker system, which is what one of the things that I would like to see kind of happen somewhere as a project or a vendor project. But it's that explanation that I've been carrying around and trying to explain to people the difference between something that's interoperable, where you can just drop it in and it fits a paradigm, and that paradigm lets it integrate into the rest of the service, and it understands where it fits in the service, and then the other components can say, oh, okay, this is the new thing that does X, and continue on in that process, right? And that's the same kind of messaging or simplification that I think will help with what we're looking for, from what is interoperable, right? How do we take that to the next step and do something with it? But where I struggle is, especially like internally, because how do you get that to click over to someone who is coming completely from the outside, right? And they're like, okay, I think I kind of get it, but it's like, yeah. So that's where I'm a little stuck in my own presentations about interoperability. And I don't know where I was going with that, other than I was hoping that you had a magic solution. in the conversation of integration versus interoperability.
Yeah, we actually gave quite a few talks around this, and I think we have a slide for that, which may not be correct, but like, because we got similar questions, like when we talk about interoperability, people say like, oh, Jenkins and Sprinklr work with each other pretty well. And we say that is exactly what we are talking about. It is only for Jenkins and Sprinklr. They are very well integrated, great work by the communities. What about Tecton? Will it work? No, because nobody integrates any of those tools with Tecton. And that is what we were trying to explain. I think I have a interoperability, just trying to find that description. I don't know if you agree to that, but just this was a KubeCon talk somewhere. KubeCon, yeah. I will just share my screen if it is okay with you. Yeah. So this is how we try to explain like integration, often additional code needed, engineering effort, maintenance cost, replacing services can be hard work, interoperability, openly defined interface and metadata. So it's like CDNs works on a data model, it has its specification, and then you can use cloud events to, as an envelope, and then get it working with other services and so on. I think this, I don't like if this is useful, but I can share the deck link to deck.
Yeah, that's super useful.
Let me actually share. I don't have, I have the link here. So let me put on chat. You can take, reuse any slide you like from this deck.
Is it public? Can I add it to our notes?
Yeah, I think, this is a KubeCon talk me and Kara gave 2021. This is 2 years old now. And just use it. Yeah. It's there are some benefits like maintainability, some other stuff like 4 keys, like DORA metrics, like how it relates to DORA metrics, like interoperability. Okay, we talk about this open interface and standardized metadata data model or whatever that enables you to achieve this type of stuff as well, because we have one way of getting all that data stored somewhere, so you can make some measurements using that.
Right.
And then half of the deck is about CDF itself. The other thing maybe I can share with you is, so if you want to see what we did in SIG interoperability in 2020, we actually published a blog post, 2020 year in review. So I am putting link to chat as well. And 2021, we switched our focus to a bit more security, software supply chain, and so on, because everyone was talking about software supply chain. But this also talks about some shared vocabulary. It talks about the roadmap at that point in time and some other initiatives we had there, just to give an idea what we were talking. If I may, one more thing. Last week, board approved the strategic goals for 2023. And this last goal is actually, it includes interoperability indirectly. It's because if we talk to people, say you need to modernize your infrastructure, you need to transform your organization, you need to adopt continuous DevOps, you need to make some technology selections and so on. Some organizations think this is just taking tool A out and putting tool B in it without thinking additional costs and the issues it might pose. That's why looking at interoperability is a bit evolutionary approach, because instead of thinking push model, everyone is doing their own stuff. If something happens out there, then I might do something with that as well. I just hook into whatever is happening within the message bus, for example, if we take CDNs. So that is kind of the evolutionary piece. Instead of focusing on individual tools, because everyone talks about how great tool X is, how great tool Y is, but that is on tool level. And you have such conversations for all different types of tools, like orchestrators, artifact repositories, test frameworks. We need to take the conversation above tools and focus on what is like above these tools or under, let's say, foundational thing, this interoperability. So this goal, we haven't published this yet. We will write a blog post, but we can plug interoperability into board goals as well, saying board set strategic goals for CDF, and one of them is how we can evolve the CD ecosystem and bring some alignment within the domain. And one last point, sorry, while Dadis was talking, I had some ideas. So everyone talks about platforms, platform engineering, Kubernetes, great, this and that. We will enable our developers to become better, increase productivity. They will become more efficient, more happy, and everyone will go to their homes and so on. But what that conversation misses is, okay, you can have a platform there and you can put a lot of effort to bring different tools under it. So developers use that platform to access all these different services. But bringing these tools under that platform is a huge effort. And we might think of including something around platform engineering and how interoperability actually makes it easy. I don't want to say easier, more straightforward to create such platforms. Because in the end, you need to bring different technologies together to create your, enterprise platform for your organization, for product development, for developers, for testers, for business people. And what happens under that platform is responsible for platform teams, but who knows what they are going through because of lack of interoperability, for example. That could be a story to start talking about.
Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's literally where a lot of this is stemming from, or even the interest to find CD events is stemming from, and being able to say, okay, everybody's a snowflake. They need to be able to, use the pieces of the system that they want to use, but I still need to present this as a single pane of glass to the executives, right? And so that's the conversation that's really easy for me to have, and draw people in, especially at the executive level, saying, well, okay, we've got a lot of toolings, but if they all did CD events, we can package this in a way where, from your perspective, you're seeing everything end to end. But being able to bring that to the developer level, where you're saying, here's the benefit of these attachments, and this is how you can use it in your day-to-day. Once this single pane of glass is built, needs that example of how do we then move something in and out of that quickly, because it still feels like integration until you can show them that, okay, this is how long it takes to move a piece in or a piece out. Like if you wanted to switch from like Argo CD to Flux or something like that underneath the hood, could you do that quickly within the system? And if they both, were using CD events, you could, and here's how. So I agree, like that is exactly the kind of thing that I'm trying to pitch internally, to the benefits of, like, this is the long-term goal of using CD events. And what the CDF is trying to do is that you should be able to move these things in and out quickly with interoperability, as opposed to integration and having that list of work. So if there is something to that statement that you have already prepared, I would love to see it.
I don't have it, but this is coming. You were in that meeting, Dadisi. This actually, when I've seen the CNCF platform engineering white paper, this tag app delivery meeting, this thinking comes from there, because they were also in similar thinking. Okay, we have all these great things, all these different tools on their white paper, but none of these tools talk to each other.
Right.
Like having logos there doesn't mean you will automatically have a platform for yourself. You should still need to put an effort and spend time and money to make them work with each other in a seamless manner. And that is exactly how we can plug into this conversation, saying, instead of you trying to figure this out, let's focus on this actual problem here. And tool project communities can continue doing their own stuff, but they should also include interoperability as the first plus concern for their communities. Okay. Because it's not just about my tool is fancier than your tool, but how easy it is to bring your project into an existing environment. Starting from greenfield is easy, but having an existing production system and modernizing that shouldn't be that costly. It should be like, it will still result in some cost, obviously, if there is interoperability as well, but reducing that cost and actually capturing that and investing that money in some other stuff would give organizations a lot of benefits.
Right.
Yeah. The other stuff like that is you and me were talking about this machine to machine, machine to human, human to machine type of stuff, visualization, DSL, those things. I think like because like again this protocol type of stuff they're very low level, and then taking these things and making them help humans is another level of effort we need to think about. Like what is there? We are talking about visualization, metrics, DSL, and so on. What else is out there? What do we miss anything? Like
I that's the same starting point that, you know, those were the levels of things that I was talking about. And still the conversations that I'm having internal is about how, you know, CD events will get you through those levels of visualization and, you know, command and control and finally to get to the point of analytics. And it's the third one that I keep like fluffing on. But yeah, that's a part of these things that we need to focus on, I think, in the interoperability group. And Melissa, you and I were talking about this last week. I mean, it's the same thing. Like this is the message that we want to get out. How do we identify the people and get this in front of as many people as possible? I think it will boil down eventually to, like you were mentioning, you're going to a different conference this yeah, it's like having CD events talks or submitting those talks to other conferences, and in a manner that looks like something that they're talking about, where we're saying that this is the ultimate solution to that problem, and understanding the problems that they're trying to solve in other groups, and then how we translate that back to what we're doing to be able to kind of customize those presentations to their problem set.
Right. Yeah. I've been sneaking stuff in about interoperability and stuff in my other talks as well. It's been really nice. Yeah.
another thing I just remembered, that is you weren't there in that session, but Melissa, I think you were there when we were having this end user panel at CDCon where Brett, Jer, Tiffany. Brett actually mentioned a cool idea about CD events and broader interoperability. Like everyone talks about these attestations and so on. Like linking proposal, coming back to what Ben is doing to DC. Once we have that linking protocol, and if we want to create some kind of attestation, events in this case could help with that as well, because we have full traceability from coding to deployment. And I think this could be something we may want to highlight in the roadmap. Like interoperability is a key enabler for software supply chain security as well, because like if you are not having a common protocol, a common language, then you are losing information while you integrate things with each other. And that information you lose while you integrate things with each other might be important for such cases. And interoperability could be an enabler not to face that type of issue.
Yeah, I think the thing that I saw on the blog just now was the Rosetta Stone of CI/CD, and the importance of what we're actually doing is we're creating a consistent language across all of these tools that then will let us speak to other tools, because we're standardizing the language but still giving people enough space to, within that framework, to do what is specialized in their tool, but then generalize those statements so that we can bring those together. Yeah, no, that's the internal message that I've been saying, but I didn't have the Rosetta Stone for CI/CD, and I've completely stolen that now, just so you know. Yeah, so maybe, well, I know what would help, maybe, I don't know, is just some like a brainstorming session, maybe, Melissa, where we kind of like try to put together our, you know, take the information that we already have, and then try to put together some slides, or just, you know, brainstorm an outline for some slides, so that we're actually like moving this thing forward. I know you want actionable things. I want actionable things too.
Right.
And so, just to say, like, okay, on this date, even if it's just you and I know Fatih has a lot of other things to do. And so, but not saying that you can't join, Fatih. But yeah, we can't expect you to do everything all the time. But I think that would be a good first step, to at least start producing some things. And maybe from that presentation, we can start down the path of some blogs and who our target audiences are. I can share what I've been breaking down internally, but I haven't started to shape the talks yet. You know, but finally I'm at a point where I'll have more time to focus. I actually have been able to put, CDF projects internally on my roadmap now. So it's like
Cool.
in my schedule and everything. So we have time commitment that's coming up for projects.
Good.
And I'm super excited about that. So
One step, like a beginning step that I'm
Mhm.
imagining, is being able to have a nice introductory presentation on what this group is about, what we plan on doing, some examples of things that are, we could possibly be discussing, and stuff that we've already done in the past. Because what I anticipate is new people coming in and they'll be like, what is this? What is this about? What are we doing? And we need to clean that up for us.
Yes.
So, and there's so much stuff that has been done already, and we just take for granted that we already know about it, especially CD events, right? So we might need a little blurb in our presentation about CD events. I would like to give that presentation to our regular meeting, Interoperability SIG meeting. But
Okay.
prior to that, I want to let everyone know that it's happening so that we have, some more people showing up to the meeting. Obviously, we'll have a recording, so it'll,
Yes.
we can always use that as well if everything fails. But in order to prepare for that, I feel like we need kind of like a blog, some shorter statement of what we are, who we are, what we're doing, some examples included, and write about it, maybe publicize it. Like we have a ton of connections, so maybe put it on LinkedIn and then maybe send that LinkedIn link to the mailing list and ask our mailing list to please share with their communities, so that we get a wider scope, because obviously we don't want to just talk to people who already know about us. So that's one idea.
Yeah, I think I concur with that. And some of it is, I think if we start with the whatever we want to do to kind of make those bullet points to figure that out, what we want to say in there. My understanding is that CD Events was born from the Interoperability SIG and then became a project. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I think having that be a part of like what the responsibility, like it set down a path of creating this language, vocabulary, Rosetta Stone, whatever we want to say it is, and then that this other piece is born out of it. So it needs to be the think tank for, or I'm not trying to say that this is what it's going to be in the bullet point, but this is at least how I see it, is that by expressing that CD Events was born out of the SIG, and the SIG is the group that says, okay, what's the next step in interoperability? And I agree that then how do we get that message out to draw those people in? Some of that is going to be going back to some like CD Event SIG and saying, hey, we're restarting this effort again. And the other SIGs to ask that question, to draw some people in who are already, participating in other things, to get their thoughts. So yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. Does that make sense? Or I'm trying. Yeah. So, okay.
In addition to attracting new people, I think we can reach out some of the others who have been there in the beginning and get them re-engaged. Ramin, I think Ramin is pretty interested in DSL-like stuff. I don't know if he has, if you met with Ramin.
Yeah.
Did you meet?
I
Ramin,
remember him.
Yeah. Salesforce, he worked at eBay with Justin, and then he moved to Salesforce like 2 years ago. And then he actually brought Salesforce as a member to CDF because of the work we have been doing. So I think we can reach out to Ramin and say, this work is restarting, like we are going through roadmap, because he has ideas. And I'm looking at some other people from the list, like this Vibhav. He is not with Red Hat anymore. He works at this environment company. I don't remember the name now. So that we can reach out to him. Oliver Nokon from SAP. I think these people, they were pretty active in the past. So like just making it up, like let's say we have some draft roadmap or something, and we can pass it to them as initial reviewers, and they can add something, and then we can publicize that. So we kind of get them engaged again by, directly sending them this.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to do it. That's exactly, what I was literally Yeah, we've got to find a way to take what we're starting with, go back to the groups that already participated and say, hey, we're doing this again. We're starting it back up. Give us your thoughts. Can you re-engage? Or like, what do you think the next
Yeah.
step should be? And then kind of go from there. So I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So we have this
Yeah.
list of people. You mentioned Ramin.
So,
I'm just going to copy.
Ramin, and Oliver Nokon from SAP. It's
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
then yeah.
Oh no, I'm looking. I just noticed it's the interoperability SIG. So I mean, we can just say like we should re-engage this whole group, right? Is there anybody who we shouldn't engage with in the group?
No, we can try to engage this group, but some of these people change jobs, some of these people moved on with the community, so we don't know who is still interested in this topic. So we can try. We have a mail list. Yeah, that could be an additional thing as well. Like Melissa, like you can send a mail to SIG Interop mail list and see who responds. You know.
Okay. For the initial, brainstorming on how we want to present.
Yeah, because half of this group, they weren't that active, to be honest. Like they were part of few meetings and over time they moved on, and the other half were active. Then some of them changed jobs, like James Rawlings, for example, or James Strachan and Justin. They are not into this interval topic anymore. Their focus is on some other stuff. So that's why I am highlighting some of the people like Ramin. He's still interested in this. Oliver, I think he would be interested in this. Vibhao and Anne-Marie, just based on the conversations we have been having like last year or something. So they wouldn't say no if we go back and ask them to, help out with stuff. And Brett, obviously.
I got Anne-Marie. Was there someone I missed? Ramin, Oliver.
Anne-Marie, yeah. Vibhao.
Where is that one?
Yeah. They're just arrow. That just go down 6 people. Vibhao Bobade. Red Hat. Up.
Right here.
Yeah. So he's more into CD events lately, but he might still be interested in Interoperability in general as well.
Okay. All right, that's 5 people that have more history of this group.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably.
And I'm looking at the mail list. We have 58 people subscribed to SIG Interop mail list as well. So some of these people are in that mail list as well. So sending a message on Slack, sending an email to mail list.
Yeah, let's do a first draft with these folks. So we have a smaller group.
Yeah.
Just to start with, and then send out, hey, this is what we put together. What are your thoughts to the mailing group? And then when we get it finalized, then I'd like to, make a LinkedIn post or a blog or something, and then be able to send that to the mailing list and ask them to post to their channels.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah. And I don't know if I should bring your favorite topic after this year, but I will do that anyways, because you always say you were in Austin during your birthday. So another idea could be like when we relaunch this effort, I know if it makes sense to relaunch it with not just blog post, but maybe with white paper describing this, like a short one.
Yeah, no, I still have them like not quite finished. So I will get that done. Like I said, we're literally just coming out of all this reorg stuff. So I do have time to devote to stuff again. And I apologize for how stretched I have been. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 200%. And that's on me. So I will get that resolved and get that to Melissa so she can proof it, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. That's 100% me. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think we have a good plan to start with.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll ping you too on the side just to get this started so that we're ready for next meeting, we'll have a better status. Speaking of which, we usually pause for vacation times when people are out during the summer. Do we have an idea when that would be the best time to do that, or should we not pause this time around? I think last year we did, but it was like what, for the month of
July
August or something, or July?
No, I think it was July, and then we reconvened in August. So I think that
Okay.
would give us like, because if we start making like promotion and so on now and taking break right after the promotion, then people will again lose interest. Maybe we can
Exactly.
target August as the relaunch, all this promotion stuff and so on. And
That
between
makes
now
sense.
and then we can work on these things. And when we are back in August, mid-August or something, we can just start publishing stuff and start with meetings. Like, when is the first meeting in August? 3rd of August. Maybe we can target 17th of August as this relaunch thing.
I think that makes sense.
And then we are relaunching end user console as well. And I will make sure that Jared knows that Interoperability SIG will be relaunched or restart, or the new roadmap will be available. I don't know the wording. So we can pass that information to end user console members as well, so they can perhaps bring their people. So we plan to have the first meeting end of June, and I will reach out to you, Tadisi, about that. And then the next meeting will probably happen in August, so we can tell them end of June, this SIG will start,
in August.
I think, August 17th or something, to pass the word.
Okay. Perfect. And then the last thing I had on the agenda, which was actually the first thing, we skipped right over it. I want to go ahead and formally nominate Dadisi for co-chair for this group. And then assuming he accepts and
Oh yeah, no, totally.
no one in the group wants something different, I think we can formalize that perhaps next meeting.
Yeah, I think, let me just try to, this group is one of the well-run groups compared to, I'm not saying like other groups not are not well-run. Nominations generally done on mail list.
Right.
So I think when I stepped down, was it you, Melissa? You stepped up. I think I tendered my resignations.
Yes.
I said like, I am stepping down.
And then Kara
nominated you.
Stepped down,
so,
and we got Justin.
So maybe good way could be to ask Justin to announce this on the mail list. Like, I don't want to make this more difficult, but that was the practice, you know. If you can get Justin, send an email saying, I am stepping down from SIG Interop co-chair role, nominations are open, and then you can then nominate Tadisi. Like,
perfect.
Because then we have the history in the mail list as well, and people can, because this matter for some people, like they want to see how these groups are run. Like, are they open or they just,
Yeah, exactly. I intended to put that on a mailing list after this meeting, but it's better if we get Justin involved. I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, I think I found the mail. Let me put the link actually. So this is actually, I nominated, that was good. I don't remember, like, this is from 2022 February. So this is
yeah, perfect.
And Kara announced the other one, like, thread is there. So if you can follow something similar, then that would be really good, actually.
Perfect. All right, so yeah, I guess we need a little description of you, Dadisi.
Yeah, some spiel. All right. Yeah, I think we have spiel for me. And I will grab it from the conference.
Perfect.
Okay. Yes. And forward that to you, if that's okay. Should I forward it to you or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's fine. And then I'll reach out to Justin.
Okay. Works for me.
Thank you, Dadisi.
Of course.
For stepping up. Thanks.
Okay. So are we taking the 15 minutes or?
yeah, is there anything else you want to discuss? Any exciting updates? Anything else?
No, I don't have anything else. But I
Okay.
think this is good. We're gonna get this moving forward, and I'm really excited still.
Yeah,
So.
I'm excited too.
Mhm.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
All right. Well,
Okay.
let's adjourn.
Okay. So
Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
rest of your
Thanks.
day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.